So, back when I was just a little kid listening to all the cool guys playing original vanilla World of Warcraft, all they were talking about is slaying dragons, going on epic quests, and poning noobs in PvP. So, after hitting level 60 on my own, I started to figure out, when am I gonna experience stuff like this? Well, we're about to embark on an epic journey. So what you see now is that I just killed General Drakithaf and finished the attunement to Onyxia's Lair. To be honest, I forgot to film the rest of the quest line because I'm a retard. But anyways, after going all over the world killing dragons for him, I finally got myself attuned. But before heading into the dragon's lair, I'm gonna head back into Molten Core. For those of you who watched last week's video, you know that I got a French raid leader being quite angry on a Tuesday. But here I had much more hopes. We buffed up the group, started heading into the raid, and I could already feel, even if we didn't have voice comms in this run, I could feel that the group was a lot more stable. And I also had this absolute legends, Play Druid and Eugenio to compete with. But I decided I was going to be better than all of them. After clearing some trash, we're heading up to the first boss, Shasra. And from what I could learn from last week is that I need to be hard on my remove curse ability. Otherwise people are gonna get quite angry with me. So as you can see, I even opened up a separate window in my details to track how many dispels I'm doing in case I get flamed. You can't be too cautious. So the group is buffing up. We're not releasing any world buffs just yet, but here we go. Tank is ready. It runs in, pre-heals him. I learned from last week that you can't just wait with your heals, so I'm starting to pump some heals into the tank, and off we go. And I realized that debuff is even a magic debuff, so I can't dispel it anyways. But here we go. Curse. So I start hovering over everybody, decursing like crazy, and just as I thought the fight was gonna start, I just see the boss HP is below sub 20%, and I'm like, whoa, what is this? And then it hit me, like everyone's been telling me that classic raiding is derp easy, and it might be. And he drops a big sick ass healing necklace. Just wait until the end of the video and we're gonna roll up the loot to see who wins it. We're chatting about in the raid, and then we get told to unboon from Magmadar, so everybody removes their world buffs. Or not removes them, but they're releasing their world buffs so we can pump even harder. And now it's going to be really interesting to see if the shamans got their tremor totems ready to go. So the tank and raid leader puts out a countdown. We get ready. As you can see, the big maestro Eugenio, he's crushing the healing as a druid. I'm getting kind of jealous, to be honest, but I'm dead certain I'm gonna beat him on some fights. So there we go, we get feared. Apparently my shamans doesn't know how to use tremor totem, or they're all in the wrong groups, who knows. But anyways, we get loose and we start harding up the raid. And nothing much else happens, he uses his flame breath and we're just throwing out rejuvenations and regrowths on everybody. As you can see, the absolute legend is the best of the druids. None of us are competing with the shamans or the priests, but go figure, we're more of innervate bots than anything else. But down he goes, Magmadar, real smooth run. So far we're gonna see he drops no loot for anyone, or no druids I should say. We keep clearing, and off of a trash mob we actually get our first piece of druid loot. We get the Cenarian wrist guards that drop from a trash mob. I figured we were gonna roll it out right away since it's BOE, but raid leader insists that we'll take it at the end of the raid. And that, guys, that is gonna be the real final boss. Anyways, we buff up for Gehennas. The raid runs in, and from what I could remember from last week, it's just don't stand in the rain of fire. I recognize this curse. It's a healing decrease, so get it off the tanks first, and then I start dispelling as much as I can. For me, that's more of a prio here, and I can let the shamans heal all they want as long as I can dispel and remove all the curses I need. And once I start getting some healing out, I realize that the boss is probably about to die at any moment, and it does, and I'm quite shocked because last time we were probably doing this boss for like 2.5 minutes, and now it just melts. Didn't drop any druid loot either, and lo and behold, we cleared all the trash without wiping, so this is actual progress from last week. Gar is up next, and we have a healer that's disconnected. Raid leader doesn't care, he's like, we need to go, time is money, friend, and all that stuff. So I'm pre-healing the tank, getting a good crit on him to get my Nature's Grace going. And we got a warrior who just ran in and started pumping, so he died. We lost a hunter as well, but he got combat rest with one of the druids. This is already looking like we have more control than last week. We got all our ads tanked by our respective guys. We got the banishes out. And now it's just to keep the raid alive, keeping the heals going. And as you can see, this absolute legend, Eugenio, is blasting me in the healing. I need to figure out what he's doing. So, the biggest thing I've felt so far, when I compare raiding in vanilla to, let's say when I raided in Dragonflight, for example, is that the small things matter more. Like, I can't go in and start pumping healing or DPS into targets before the tank's gotten some threats, otherwise we're all going to die. And with anticipation, we're waiting for Guard to die, and see if he drops some bindings or some other fun stuff. And down he goes. He dropped some Warlock gear and a Cenarian, the Druid head. I got that last week, so I'm not really that bothered about it. But so far, the Druid loot is starting to pile up. Just watch and see for the next couple of bosses. Next up, Barongeddon. Oh my, Barongeddon. This is the wall we hit last week. If I manage to beat this boss, then I'm actually gaining progress. So we start up by pre-healing the tank as always. I'm watching my debuffs, so I'm not casting any heals while I got the magic debuff on me, so I'm draining my mana just so I can keep my heals going throughout the fight. You can see some melees here dying to Inferno. I don't know how, but apparently they can die to that if they just don't move out of the fire. And our guys are figuring out the Living Bomb really well. This is, like I said, this is not a French Tuesday raid by any means. This is super smooth and I actually enjoy it a lot. Next Inferno goes out, we lose nobody, because everybody just plays perfectly. The shamans are pumping their chain heals. I'm actually a bit jealous of them. I wish I had my wild growth that I get later. And down Barongeddon goes. So from now on, everything in this raid is new to me. It's absolutely new. Shastra is up next. Or I don't know what his name is. It's the third lizard guy. Who cares? We're pre-healing the tank as always. Going in, this guy is doing like some arcane explosions. So I hope the melee had their greater arcane protection potion. Can buy mine off the auction house otherwise. He throws out a curse. Spam my shift 6 key to decurse as many people as possible. And boom, down he goes. Like 20-second fight. It's incredible. He drops some mage loot and some warlock stuff. So I'm quite disappointed that he didn't drop any druid loot. Up to the next one, the Sulfuron Harbinger, which is basically, 5 lizard men that you need to kick and cleave down, or focus down on. I didn't really pay attention. I was looking at the Atlas loot, I'm not gonna lie. I just healed the raid. So we stacked them up, we kicked them, we AoE them down, and like I said, this is probably what Molten Core is supposed to be, instead of being a wipe fest with rage and whatever from the French guy. So down the ads goes, and then we start blasting out the Harbinger. And as you can see, I'm starting to get some really big heals going, and Eugenio is topping the healing, the absolute legend. I don't know what he's doing, to be honest. I need to probably go study his logs. But down goes the Sulfuron Harbinger, and he drops a Vendor Strike and some Warrior Shoulders. Next boss, Golemag the Incinerator. What a massive golem this is. Same procedure, pre-heal the tank as he runs in. Here, I can see that the off tank is pulling away the dogs away from the boss. So I position myself so that I can heal all of our tanks instead of just healing the main tank. Once again, that absolute legend Eugenio is blasting the healing meters. Like I said, I need to ask him what he's doing, because I just feel like I'm going I don't know if I'm over healing or over harding or whatever. But if you got any tips for me, leave them down in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe while you're down there. Anyways, Golemag goes down after he doesn't go. He has like 10% HP left, but it's a clean kill. Nobody dies. Down he goes, and here we go, guys. Drops the Staff of Dominance and the Scenario Investments. Now, I know I do have the robes of the Exalted from Stratholme, but to be honest, I couldn't care less about wearing some blue dress for a couple of more months, so I'm gonna try and win it. Next up is Majordomo Executus, second to last boss in the Molten Core, and I'm pretty excited right now. We're doing some real progress. But this fight, once again, I was reading Atlas loot, didn't really pay attention. I just healed the raid. Position myself so that I can heal the tanks, and just keep throwing out my rejuves, my regrowths, whatever. I'm pretty sad I don't have a shaman in my group, so I couldn't get the Mana Tide totem or Mana Spring totem. But anyways, if the priests don't ask for it, I'm just gonna innervate myself to get better logs. But the ads to just go down one by one, really smooth here. The guys are doing all their job. We got some good DPS going. The rogues are cleaving away. We even got an elemental shaman up, enhancement shaman, up like top 5 in the DPS, which I never thought I was going to see. And down they go. The last couple of ads are left. And they were slower than I thought. There we go. Majordomo Executus defeated. So, with 9 out of 10 bosses down, we're heading to the final boss room. All the way down to Ragnaros' Lair. And Executus didn't drop anything good, by the way. He just threw out some other stuff. And this is, some hype is really starting to build up with me here, killing Ragnaros for the first time. Wow, who could have figured? And it's perfect, to start getting this stuff on farm a little bit more, because Blackwing Lair is about to release in a couple of weeks. But we rushed down, we killed the last trash before the boss. And then, because I haven't watched any guides, we got a guy telling me to change position. So I'm standing in the correct place right now, waiting for Ragnaros to appear. And this is a legendary moment in Warcraft history. You know, guys talked about this all the time when I was a kid, you know, how Ragnaros emerged from the lava and how massive he was. You know, looking at it now, when, you know, we're a bit older, he's big, but he's not that big. But still, it's, you know, an epic entrance worthy of an end boss. Our raid leader is, you know, pretty straightforward here. He's just raid leading us through text at this time. We're going through the RP. Ragnaros isn't really that happy that we evoke him from his slumber. You know, that famous line, "Too soon, Executus, too soon," or whatever. And he just slaps his servant to the ground. What a boss. Anyways, same procedure as always, pre-healing the tank with a regrowth, and off we go with the last boss of the raid. Now I know that everybody unbooned their last couple of world buffs, so this is gonna go by pretty fast actually. As you can see, our tank is actually top of the healing done. I don't know how that's possible, but it was just for a couple of moments before the priest and the passive, the god druid Eugenio started to overtake the throne as the top healer. And you know, Ragnaros, I did a sneaky move. I threw Innervate on myself because I didn't have any priest in range. Who cares? You know, I'm just thinking about my own healing logs. All of a sudden, Ragnaros throws me up in the air. I'm trying to just regain my positioning, healing the guys that got stuck in lava or whatever. And Raggy is going down smoothly as butter, you know, no big deal whatsoever. And all the time this is happening, I'm like, okay, this is what classic raiding should be all about. You know, it's more of the community getting 40 pals together, you know, having a good time in the raid instead of, you know, the sweaty ass speedrunning guilds or whatever, the hardcore guys. But down he goes, and now we are 10 out of 10. But now, my dear friends, this is where the real final boss of the raid appears, because now it's time to distribute the loot. Ragnaros didn't drop that much. He dropped the Band of Sulphurous, and since, you know, the raid leader is apparently German, everything of Gargle is German, so I need to like double click everything and make sure that I know what kind of a item it is. Anyways, I didn't win the roll for the Band of Sulphurous, but hopefully I'm more lucky next time. The next thing to roll out is the neck from the first boss. I roll a 52, not enough. Congrats to the guy who won it. Then it's time. The head of scenarios is going to be rolled out. You know, I won this last week, so I'm just going to let the other two druids duke it out over that. There's Play Druid and there's Eugenio. But then the next druid item is about to be rolled. The vestments of Scenarios, and I roll a big 92. Winning it over Play Druid is probably screaming his lungs out right now. Next item to be rolled out after that. Oh no, fuck. Sorry, he rolled out the shoulders first. Next is the vestments of the Scenarios. On Play Druid, he rolls an 87. I drop a 96 on him. And people just tell me it's a joke, lol. But who cares? Loot secured. 2 druid pieces. In a total, like 4 druid pieces in 2 Molten Core runs. I'm pretty happy with that. Starting to get to a point now where we just need to get the complementary pieces like the trinkets, and I'm still looking for that Aurstone hammer. Next up, they're rolling out the Cenarian Waste. I won this last week, so Congrats to you, Play Druid. Then it's time for the armbands of the scenario. On the scenario, and I drop a 7 here with much confidence. I think it's karma that Play Druid won that one. So after tonight's Molten Core, I got 5 set. I got shoulders, chest. I got the waist and some other pieces. All in all, it's looking kind of good. I'm really happy with the character progression of this one. But Molten Core is not the only raid we're gonna do this week. I also decided to head to Onyxia's Lair, since I finished up my attunement there with Rexar. So after leaving the raid, and you know, I missed out rolling on a recipe for alchemy, but who cares. After leaving the raid, I quickly found Onyxia's Lair group, 25 player, which is quite common. You know, you're not really doing this 40 man anymore. We're heading in here and I'm dead set on not being the worst healer in the raid. So, same procedure as in all of Molten Core, I pre-heal the tank as he gets the boss into positioning, and this is probably what my pals back when I was a kid was talking about, slaying massive dragons, because Onyxia is not a small one. Anyways, I'm really determined to not be a bad healer in this run, so I'm starting to pumping like a madman, getting myself to the top of the healing meter. And people are taking damage, which you know, helps me out, so I can really start pumping. It's not just tanks who need healing, but guys are, you know, standing in some tail swipes. Some are getting blasted by fire. But I keep pumping so hard, I even throw Innervate on myself. As always, don't tell any priest, they're gonna get really mad at me. But if you don't ask for Innervate, I'm not gonna give it to you. This group is also, you know, really smooth. You know, there's nothing much going on here when we're heading into Onyxia. It's smooth sailing. The raid leader is just telling us via raid warnings what to do. And as you can see, I'm the undisputed king of healing in this Onyxia's Lair run. I'm out healing priests and shamans, the chain heal spamming idiots, and the prayer of healing spamming wussies that are the priests. But I think I get overconfident here, because I'm gonna keep throwing heals when she's in the air. And as you know, I already blew out my Innervate. So what's gonna happen is that I'm gonna start raid healing a little bit more here. And if you watch my mana bar, you see it's starting to go down, but I'm just super confident, being like, I'm the best healer in this game. Nobody can compare to me. And this is only phase 2. Onyxia still has like half health left. But I don't care. I just keep healing and healing and healing all over until my mana bar is pretty much completely empty, as you can see here. And this is when I know that I fucked up, because now I need to basically sit AFK for the rest of the fight in a corner, waiting for the 5-second rule to, you know, kick in. Which is also gonna cost me my precious first place in the healing meter. As you can see, I ended up at 6th place, because I'm a complete idiot trying to heal like a madman. Anyways, our shamans know how to deal with the fears. Onyxia goes down, and she's dropping some sweet loot. We got a good job from the raid leader, and he starts rolling out some gear. As you can see, the saffron drape drops, which is massively better than the drape that I already got. So I'm starting to, you know, roll my hands, hoping that I got some good rolls in me still. It's time to roll on the drape, and I drop a 100, even though some guys are rolling over 90. So I'm just dropping a woo in the raid chat, you know, getting happy. And then we're receiving the last epic for the week. And, you know, looking at it, this week has been really exciting. I'm starting to get into classic raiding a little bit more, and I'm looking forward to Blackwing Lair releasing the next couple of weeks. Thanks for watching, guys. I really enjoy your support and that you watched all the way through. Like the video if you liked it, comment if you got any ideas, and subscribe to make my day. Take care of yourselves. Ciao.